The texture pack that we're reviewing for Throwback Thursday is going to be a re-review requested by you guys. That's because we're looking at the Flareful Texture Pack created by CubeCraft Games. Coming in at 660 mine tokens, this texture pack takes up 6 megabytes of size and was last updated in September 2025. When I originally reviewed this texture pack, I gave it a 5 out of 10, which you can see in my texture pack review database over on my website, and you can watch the original review here on YouTube. So has my opinion of this texture pack changed? Let's find out. So the Flareful Texture Pack does come with an updated GUI, and it's okay. Like, it's got a really nice title screen, and they've changed the colors to be more of a colder still silver with a shading element to it as well. I'm not a particular fan of the text and font style that's on there. I think it's a little bit difficult to read and a little bit dark. But in terms of the layouts and stuff like that, there are new colors that are kind of faithful to the vanilla style, but definitely given a bit of a zhuzh up to make it look like theirs. You can definitely tell it's an updated silver. It's got the shading in there, which again, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I can definitely appreciate there being a GUI update, especially when you consider that more expensive packs don't have this. Like I said, not the biggest fan of the shading in the menus, in the workbenches and stuff, but it is there and it does fit the theme of the pack. Before we jump into the passive mob section, let me remind you that you can find the final review score for today's texture pack over in my texture pack review database at dasmanblogs.blogspot.com. You can compare texture pack scores and see how I've rated everything. You can also find the waiting list for future Throwback Thursday content on my website at dasmanblogs.blogspot.com. Link in the description below. If you'd like to suggest content for today's series, then leave a comment with the name of the texture pack you would like me to review, but remember, it must be in the Minecraft marketplace. Now, when you're in a brand new world with the Flareful Texture Pack, you'll see straight away that colors are very bright and vibrant. We've got some very bright greens here. We've got some very bright yellow sand as well. In terms of the sky, it's quite a soft blue. As we go around, we've got a simple sun as well. And then for the ocean, there's a two-tone ocean at least here. As we go out into like the hotter ocean or the tropical oceans with the corals, it's a lighter blue, but then as we come over to shore, it's a bit of a darker blue, still very close to the vanilla colors that you would get here. And we've got kind of a scaly animation is probably the best way to put it here for the ocean. There is movement on there as well, which is quite cool. We can come over to this side here and we've got the grass and the dirt. So the dirt and the grass looks like it lines up perfectly, so that's very good. We don't have any issues here. I'm not seeing any immediate parts of variation or anything like that. But what I am seeing here is a very shade-heavy texture in terms of, as you can see, like for instance on this grass block, and as we saw in the menus and hotbar, the shading is very, very prominent. Now, one thing I will say from my previous texture pack review, not necessarily about shading, but there was some issues that I had about an insane never an end being mentioned in the description and certain other claims to fame in the description. These have been removed now from the description, so I won't be marking it against that. And I just wanted to say that there has been a very big change in that regards to hopefully make it something that I may enjoy a bit more. I'm also a lot more learned in texture packs now. I understand vanilla texture packs a lot more, and so hopefully I can come at this a bit more positive than I did in the original review. And we'll be looking at world generation in this section now as well, in terms of the stone, the caves underground. So that's why the title card changed too. So just a few updates there in that regards. We've got the stone, which seems quite soft. In fact, there's a little elements of shade here. Actually feels a little bit cleaner than what we were getting with the grass element. So I suppose shade may be used a bit differently in this pack, not necessarily consistent as we go through. Be interesting to keep an eye on that, because there is heavy shade when the elements come up vertical like this, but not necessarily in the actual block face, which is definitely something that can be deemed inconsistent, but also I quite like that. I think it's better not to be in the blocks, but we'll see. It's early days. We'll see how that goes. We do have a pig here, and the shading is very prominent on the back. And like I say, I think this can probably be deemed more vanilla in style from what I'm seeing immediately. Like, it's definitely keeping what you would expect from a Minecraft pig, for instance, although I don't like the perceived lack of detail. Like the eyes, for instance, here. There's not really eyes there. They're just kind of implied. I don't know. It's a bit ominous for me, I think, as we go round. And I don't know if that's something that other people feel. It definitely felt a little bit eerie. We've got some flowers here as well for you to see. And if we come over here, we've got a sheep and we got some cows. Now, the cows I'm interested in because it looks like instead of being brown and white, they're almost brown and violet. I like that. But again, the lack of eyes is off-putting for me. And it's got that shading prominence that I was saying as well. So it seems to be the more mob style shading, the more like additional parts to blocks get those heavy shading. Very weird elements on the back here of the cow too. I mean, you didn't need to go into that kind of detail really, did you, to be fair? But okay, if we carry on around here, we'll go to the sheep. So we can see we've got, I believe this is a black, but where's the face? If we was doing a does it work with actions and stuff video for Dasman Reacts, I'd say this is broken. The eyes are not there. He's got his feet though. But those eyes, I don't like the faces at all. I don't know if I'm missing something here, but I don't like them at all. If we shave the sheep, we can see it keeps elements of color, and that color is consistent with the sheep. If we go over to the white one with the heavy shading and the no face, yeah, you'll see there, look, the color is consistent there as well. So we've seen a cow, we've seen a sheep, we've seen a pig. Oh, there seems to be a chicken down here, at least maybe a baby chicken. Hello, buddy, how you doing? Very pink, almost a naked chicken. I don't know why. I don't particularly like that, and he doesn't particularly like being on camera here. Do you mind? Can you let me pick the chicken, please? Thank you very much. Let's see how other chickens look. All right, so the bigger ones, the less baby ones, still pink though, almost like it's already been feathered, shall we say. Like, I don't get elements of feather there. The eyes are more prominent here. There's more of a prominent outline on the eyes because it's that 1 pixel. Probably the color helping. Very vanilla in shape there though. Definitely have to make sure that's said. And then I think that's all of the mobs in terms of the passive mobs that we normally look at. We can go and get the horses. That's a donkey. We'll spawn in a donkey, why not? A skeleton horse and a zombie. So we'll start with the donkey. There is the donkey. I mean, it fits the theme of the world here. We'll go for the horses as well. Yeah, it's got that kind of harsh shading elements, the artistic style being done here, and yet still touches upon that very vanilla style, not really trying to make it their own, other than taking away facial features. The skeleton horse here, again, pink, so they don't seem to go for the pale white textures on here. It's kind of like a reddish pink. Honestly, if this was served to me in a chicken shop, I'd be like, yo, you haven't cooked it enough. Bit weird, but yeah. And then we've got the zombie horse here as well. We've got a little baby one and then a bigger one. I like that though. The color with the yellows added into the green to make it feel a bit more zombified and sick. I like that. That's kind of cool. I do think that's nice. Let's drink a night vision potion early for this new part of this section. We're going to go into spectator mode and go underground. We're going to see what we've got going on around here. Where's the best place to have a look? If we hover down here, we'll go over here. So we can see a lush cave and some actual cave generation here. And so here we go underground. We get to show off some caves. I asked for feedback and people said they wanted to see caves. So we just see a little bit of the elements here so we can see how tough and deep slate generates in and how being in a wide cave can look. Obviously, not with the darker elements. You guys need to be able to see it. And if we come up here as well, we can see how it looks for a lush cave biome too. So hopefully that's cool. Hopefully that gives you guys stuff that you want to see. Let me know what to look out for here so I can know what to comment on. But really, it just kind of captures the texture pack for me. Let's head now to a village and let's see what villagers look like. So we get to approach a village on the outskirts of an acacia biome here. So we get to also see some of that yellow grass in effect as well, which looks quite nice. Again, very good color in this pack. And I think that's probably where it gets its name from. That flareful color, that explosion of vibrant, bright colors. And it looks really nice. I do think for the pack that we're dealing with, I think it looks really, really nice. Not going to be hitting any awards for realism or anything like that, but they don't claim to. They just want to give you a bright and colorful world with a clean design. Not 100% sure it's the cleanest design going, what with all of the shading, but it's definitely bright and colorful. If we come over here to the village, well, we might as well go and see the iron golem straight away. And we do see those shadings coming in here again. It gives those harsher tones. It's not particularly an art style that I'm a fan of. And again, it's just kind of the eyes just don't feel prominent enough. I don't know what it is. It's just really like making me feel a bit eerie and a little bit off key. But maybe some people like this. And again, my whole idea of what makes a good texture pack isn't what everybody believes. So I'm not at no point saying I am the be all and end all here. But that's the iron golem. We've got the hay bale here as well for some detail. And they seem to really like these bits of artistic shading with the kind of Tetris puzzle pieces, for lack of a better term, adding in that definition as we go around. We've got the crops here, which feel very full. And that was the same for the flowers as well. Like they do feel very, very full in their art style. If we come around here, we'll grab ourselves a villager. Hello, mate. Now you've got eyes. Interesting. Let's spawn a few of these guys in. So they definitely have eyes. Spawn a few in here. Doesn't look like we've got diversity, which is a shame, I'm afraid. I know some people get triggered by that. When I say it, I don't care. I want diversity in my texture pack, so it would be awesome if we could get some, but hopefully in a future update here. They still feel very vanilla-y. You do have that shading element coming in here too. So, I mean, on one hand, that shading element is starting to become more and more consistent with entities. Maybe not necessarily blocks, but with the entities they are. And they're still keeping that vanilla feel. They're not necessarily making the world their own by adding in creative differences. The only creative changes I've seen so far, really, other than the shading art style, is the lack of facial expressions on certain mobs. So, yeah, it's been a bit weird. Other than that, though, we've also got the path blocks on here, and you can just kind of see how structures would look around here too. But that's the village. So, let's say it's a nighttime now, and let's see how hostile mobs look like. So the moon is rising up here, and again, like the sun, it's a very small and basic moon. If we look around the world, certain biomes like the acacia biomes with that yellowy grass, and even more like a plains or rolling hill style, feels brighter than normal because of those lighter color tones. As we look off into the distance of like a jungle, for instance, and further out, it does start to get a bit more darker. But because of the lighter color tones, nighttime isn't so dark. Now, this is the hostile mob section, so this is also your arachnophobia warning here. There will be spiders, Minecraft spiders, but still spiders. So let's get in and see how they look. And let's turn on night vision as well while we're here. We're going to jump down and we're going to see what spawns. We'll see the Enderman later. We've got a creeper, and the creeper is doing us a bit of a favor here. Stood next to this, the bush, for instance, the color tone really blends it in with the bushes, making it quite easy for it to creep up on someone if you're not paying a ton of attention. Like if you're just kind of chilling off in the sides and you don't notice it, that could easily creep up on you. I like that. It's a good element to have it blend in with some of the surroundings. That's what a creeper does, right? We've also got the skeleton here, and that looks consistent with the skeleton horse. So the bone blocks so far staying consistent with that pinkish, reddish, white style on there. Again, no facial features really, and very minimalized facial features. And I can't quite tell if it's the facial features that are minimalized or the shading that is maximized, which makes them blend in. But that is the case. We've got zombies up here. These zombies looking kind of bulky, to be fair. And again, yeah, the eyes just look like shading. It's very weird. Still vanilla inspired, not necessarily changing up anything here. No variation other than armor sets. It's a bit hard to get, like, excited by them, I guess. And that's even more so for the spider here, because very little going on. Maybe a different face, but I think what they've done is they've put actual eyes on the spider, as well as some eyes in the background. Like, you can see, look, one eye, two eye. I mean, this is the only one that's actually got facial features, so very weird decisions there. Let's head out to the ocean now, and let's see what the ocean monument looks like. And here we are then above an ocean monument. We still got night vision potion on. It's still nighttime as well, so we can see a little bit easier underwater. From the top here, my immediate impression is I really like the blues. So let's get under here and see if that will carry on when we get down here. So let's get down here. Let the render distance push back a little bit. So the prismarine bricks, they've got that traditional Y design on here. There is almost like a Sonic, like old school Sonic art style coming on here. I don't know if that's just me or if anyone else gets that kind of feeling. It kind of feels like an old school graphic style on here as well. The shading doesn't feel so bad down here either, but I think that probably comes with the rest of the block being quite clean. So, I mean, I like that. Okay. We've got prismarine on here as well. Very cobbly infill. The shading comes straight back on here. I'm just trying to see if there's any color changes to it. There is, I think there is a color change to that. It very subtly changed. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me, but if there is, it's very slow. We'll keep an eye on that. I can't quite tell. No, it's going a lot more purple now, so there is a color change. We've got that dark prismarine there as well, which is like a vertical brick design. Okay. And if we come up here, we see a sea lantern. Sea lantern looks all right. Yeah, it's not too bad. I like a sea lantern. Not too bad at all. Got some tropical fish down here. Let's pop this open. Oh, yeah, look. Purple is a lot more prominent here. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Oh, okay. So they seem to have made the art choice, and I don't know if this is correct, but I like that they've gone with it. They seem to have made an art choice that implies that the ghast is made of bone, because that's consistent with a skeleton and a skeleton horse. It's not a design I've seen before, or at least not something I've seen linked before. I like that. They've made that creatively their own. I can live with that. Very good purple fawns on the side there as well. I like it. Very close to vanilla in its actual model and design, like, you know, with the shading and whatnot. But I like it. You're on my list of things I like, mate. We've also got the standard guardians here as well, looking more like prismarine with the orange fawns. Works for me. No complaints at all here from me. And we've got a drowned down here as well. The 3D elements on the head, looking like he's got like moss or seaweed on his head. Very cool. But still quite basic everywhere else. The 3D elements just sitting on the top there. Okay, I mean, like I said, not the worst section at all. I see elements here that I'm able to kind of put into reasons and like, which is always a plus for me, to be honest. Let's go underground now and let's see a trial chamber. And so we're in the trial chamber now then, and the first thing I just wanted to say is I really wished the trial chamber would get updated for the copper age to add in a few more copper elements. Maybe it has, but they're not jumping out at me in places. Looking at this though, Tough feels like it's very vanilla. Very, very vanilla, but still added to the art style. Like, there's no real differences in design elements here, but it still fits the texture pack. So I guess it's the best of both worlds. And this texture pack for me is definitely a vanilla texture pack. I know sometimes I say that and it triggers a few people. My definition of vanilla is when it's kind of using the same elements of the vanilla block, not really changing much up creatively, but more just changing like color brightness and shading elements and stuff like that. Not really adding your own creative freedom and flair to it. And that's kind of what I get here in this texture pack right now. Let me know if you agree or not. What do you believe a vanilla inspired texture pack is like? Does it even exist? I don't know. In terms of the copper blocks, so we've got the good consistency between oxidized and standard. You've got that kind of shading, old school artistic style. The stairs, though, look very harsh with that shading. It's not my style, I'm afraid. And then if we come around here as well, we've got the copper bulb, which actually doesn't look as pixelated as it did in vanilla, actually. They seem to have cleaned it up quite a lot. But then the skull is very much missing here on the trial chamber. Let's just drink this again. I've got the wrong night vision potion. We've also got some polished tuff here too, which is cool. You can see a magma block down here, and you can see some copper grating, which doesn't look anywhere near as prominent. See, so this is Creative Flair. So it's they've reduced down the amount of grating space and really thickened up the bars around it, which is quite cool. I think I like that, to be honest. Let's go here and grab ourselves a breeze. I'm always a fan of packs that use their creative freedom. Don't copy things like for like. Add in your own flair. Change the designs up a little bit. You can still see this as a copper grating. It's not reinventing the wheel, but it's definitely making it their own, and I like that. And if we get the breeze, then you get this, and it's like, no, you pretty much are an exact replica of the standard breeze, just with a bit more prominent coloring and a bit more prominent shading. But yeah, so that's going to be the trial chamber now. We're going to head over to the armory, and we're going to have a look at every block. Right then, so we're in the Armoury world for the Flareful Texture Pack, and we're going to be taking a look at pretty much every block as we go and do this flyover and talk about whatever jumps out at me. And basically, I've added in a lot more stuff. So I've added in all of the Copper Age editions. This pack is not updated for the Copper Age. It is updated for Chase the Skies. Being updated in September means it just missed the Copper Age, unfortunately. We've got some really nice Ender Dragon head and Ender Dragon egg as well. So I like that. And we get that harsh artistic style in places. I mean, you can see it a lot here for like words like TNT on the side, where it just really emboldens and feels a bit difficult to look at. You can see, though, that they've definitely colored and cleaned and brightened a lot of things to make it their own. And as we go through here as well, we can see how the ores look. We can see how the world would generate with stuff. We can also see how precious blocks and ingots all would look. And then we've got all of the copper stuff. So obviously copper blocks, the gratings and stuff like that would have been updated, as you can see by the harsher tones in the shading. But then for the copper chests, well, either that's been updated or it just fits in. How have they done that? I didn't think that this was done. That's interesting. That's not how a copper chest looks in. I mean, I've only really experienced Copper Age in actions and stuff. I'll leave that to you guys to decide. Has that been updated? I'd be surprised if it has. We've also got the glass here as well. Some good color on there. We've got the armor stand with the nice unique design element. And we've got the bundle here. I like that little eye design. It's just a nice little characteristic for it. And then you've got all the colored stuff here as well for the beds, the wool, the carpets, the candles. We'll see how they all look. Good consistency. I mean, it looks copy and paste. They've not really tried to make any of the different color sets unique. I like when that happens because I don't want to have a specific color for a specific design. I treat that differently to weapons and armors being copy and paste. As we can see, the doors and the copper doors and the iron doors and trap doors here. We'll come through here as well. We've got the trees and leaves, some weird transparency on the leaves here. And then we've got the rest of the blocks just flying through here as well. So you can see the different art styles on this as we just go through. I don't want to travel too fast because I want you guys to be able to see it as we go. But there's birch. The transparency is not crazy when it comes to the leaves, in fairness. You can see there is some transparency, but it's not a lot. Not a lot at all. Let's come in here for the acacia trees. And you get that really harsh art style. I think this is really harsh. I'm not a big fan of that at all. So we come through again for the dark oak. I like that door though. That door feels very polished. We've got the mangrove over here as well as the what is that, mycelium? Muddy mangrove roots. One day I'll learn what a block is. I like the cherry blossom tree. It's not your Barbie pink. It's more of a purpley pink on there. I like that. Again, you still got that harshness of the wood, but I like the leaves. I think the leaves look good. The pale oak getting a kind of grey green to the leaves here. And then you got that cold white. So they are having white colors in here. They've just changed bone. Bamboo on here as well. Bamboo blocks feel very warm. Interesting on that one. And then we've got the nether trees here with the crimson and some purple, almost elements of motion blur on here as well. Very difficult to look at there. And then we've got warped here as well. Good blue. That blue feels very consistent between the leaves up there, or what is that? Warped warp blocks, and then the wooden, I can't even think of the stairs and the slabs is what I'm looking for there. The color looks very consistent on that. We've got the concrete and concrete powder in here as we pop through. Not a ton of detail going in there. It's very plain, very bland, very vibrant as we just fly it through here. And then we've got the terracotta and glazed terracottas. And the more designed the glazed terracotta is, the harder it is to see. Like a lot more motion blur in that. A lot more difficult to make out what we're dealing with here. But again, good color. Very good color. But they've stuck with those vanilla designs on that. I have to say as well, the bone block doesn't look consistent with what we saw in the skeleton and the skeleton horse. That is a more whiter, almost yellower bone than what we had with the skeleton and skeleton horse. I've added in ice, and what I thought was packed ice is now called compressed ice, and blue ice along with snow and snow layers up there as well. And then we've got the coral blocks dead and alive. Over here, we've got the gravel, we've got the moss, the pale moss, the mud, the bricks, all of the kind of trashy looking blocks, really, that I would call. So we come through here, we've got tuff down here as well for the tuff family. And we see those elements of shading just coming in more. And even for these here, motion blur, quite strong. Deep slate down here as well. It has a kind of comic-y feel to it with some of the line art. I don't know. It's like, I don't know if it's comic-y feel, old school comic-y feel. There's something about it that's got a bit of a flair to it. We've got the end stone and purple here as well. The shading coming back very prominently. And then we've got the soul sand, soul soil, netherrack, nether bricks, and red nether bricks. The red nether bricks getting a good touch of color here. I like those. Resin and quartz on there. And then the prismarine. Prismarine bricks, I think, are my favorite block that I've seen so far here. I think they're really cool. I can give or take prismarine and dark prismarine, but prismarine bricks are really cool. Andesite, diorite, and granite. I always want to call it granite, but that's just not me. And then into sand and red sand here as well. Bricks. Oh, move over. Bricks might be my favorite, actually. I really like that yellow. This captures a brick really well. Yeah, I like that. Blackstone, and is that gilded? It is. Gilded blackstone. And again, kind of getting like that old school comic-y feel to it. Where it's a bit polished, bit clean. I'm seeing motion blur here, though. I don't know if we can really call it clean. As we go for the mossy and standard stones, we got stone and smooth stone. And then we've got cobblestone and mossy cobblestone here as well for you. You can see mushroom blocks. Mushroom blocks feeling more like what bone blocks should look like, considering skeletons and stuff. But okay. Mixed in with the flowers on here as well. And then we've got the mobs. So I've expanded the mob section here just so that we can kind of see more and more as we go over. You guys can just get like a glancing view of them. We're going to have the more temperate mobs variations here as well for the hotter mobs down here. But you'll see again, faces on these mobs just not there. No eyes at all. It's very uncanny. Villagers, iron golem, happy ghast. Chucked in a witch here as well for you guys to see. I like the witch. I think the witch is cool. Get a wandering trader down here too. Though it'll probably be attacked by the witch at some point, I guess. The creeper's got a good face. That's cool. Horses, the creaking. There's a copper golem in here now. The Alayan pandas. And then, yeah, just for anybody who may not have seen it earlier. So this is how a skeleton horse looks. It doesn't feel like the same color as the bone block. And the same over here for the skeleton as well. Doesn't it? That feels a little bit redder, a little bit pinker maybe. Slime and sniffers. And then there's the rest of those there. We can also see the armors. So got very heavy shaded armor when it comes to leather. There's the copper armor here as well. Chainmail has no transparency. And the more we go through here, so copy and paste, not so much, but definitely difficult to make out details. Definitely difficult there to make out those details. And if we come up over here as well, we can see how the armor trims are all looking. They're just standard, really. Maybe a little bit bolder, but they're just standard. And you can also see the horse armors and the wolf armors here too. And then if we come through here, so we've got the hose. There's a slight bit of detailing on the wood one with the leaf. You've got the strapping on the stone one. But then after that, copy and paste really does hit in. Same again for the shovels. As you can see, the paintings in the background too. Same again for the swords. They feel kind of short and stubby, but definitely copy and paste. Axes. They've all, yeah, so they've given the elements to the wood and the stone, but the ones you're more likely to use, not so much. The copper tools have been updated though. Interesting, that wasn't included in the changelog that I saw. Okay, well, I'm glad that's consistent then. We've then also got the rest of the weapons on here as well. The shield, the elytra. You can see the shelves in the background with and without. They look very vanilla. They don't look like they've been touched. And then we can chuck on a pumpkin helmet too, if I can pick that up. Thank you. Let's see how this looks. Grab that. No real surprises there. It's fine. Nothing too bad. Put that back on there. Throw that away. And then we've got the end portal. One is unlit. One is lit. Very bright blue end portal there. And then we got the nether portal. Prominent purple. And the conduit. So yeah, that's the armory section for the Flareful Texture Pack then. Why don't we go into the nether now and let's see how that looks. Hey, did you know this channel isn't all there is? I also have a second channel called Dazman Reacts, where I react to other Minecraft content, trailers, pack combinations, creator interviews, and even the Minecraft Marketplace weekly update. I also have the Dazman Plays channel, where I play other non-Minecraft games of all age ranges. I have a Dazman football channel and a Dazman wrestling channel for those games and topics as well, and I also have a very small TikTok account at Dazman TikTok. And finally, I have my website, the Dazman Blogs website at dazmanblogs.blogspot.com, where I'm building a texture pack database, an actions and stuff compatibility list, written texture pack summaries, a very loose podcast, and even more. So support me in various places by liking, commenting, subscribing, following, and visiting in as many places as possible. And then into the nether we go, so you can see the Flareful splash screen there will pop out. And we can see netherrack. So netherrack feeling a lot like how I think cobblestone felt. It doesn't feel too unique at all. And it feels very minimalist. Like, I don't know, it's weird. It's not quite clean, but it's not quite full, if that makes sense. This is a very weird pack in that sense. Let's get up the top here and get to an open area so we can see what the nether looks like properly. We'll go over here, I think. Yeah. Right here, thank you very much. We'll see some colors as we go. So we've got the lava. Definite heavy blur there. As I'm looking at that, I really like the color of the warped though. The blue is really good. And as we come through here as well, we see, now I'm looking at that and I'm wondering, no, it's not variation, it's directional. But that's cool, okay. We've got a zombified piglin here. And the skeleton on the zombified, so I need to check this because I was questioning it in the armory section in my head. So let's go skeleton spawn and skeleton horse on here. Excuse me, you're going to be my... I can use your friend up here, thank you. So chuck that down. Oh no, okay, so maybe it's not as red as I think it is. Okay, hang on, I want to check this. Maybe I made a mistake in the armory section, and that's fine if I did. No, actually, side by side, they are consistent. Right, okay. Side by side, they are consistent. I stand corrected then. In my head, they looked a lot more red. Like, that looks a lot pinker, but maybe it's just because of the spacing. I'm not sure. I'll have to leave that up to you guys, to be honest. The skeleton itself, though, feels... See, but then looking at it there, it's consistent with the edge, but not with the face. It's weird. I'm going to say it's not consistent. I don't know. You let me know what you guys think. But yeah, that doesn't feel perfectly consistent, in fairness. As we look around the Nether again, this is what we're here for anyway. Let's see. I seem to have got myself a bit trapped. Let's get out of here. Can I get like an open area of Nether, please? Not one of these terrible bits. Thank you very much. There is a ghast here. As we can see in the Soul Sand Valley, we get a blue shading. The ghast there. Prominent facial features, which is good. I want to go into survival so we can see the ghast's attack. Game mode survival. Right. Hello. Ah! I'm being attacked by something. I'm being attacked by everything. Please. Wait, where did the ghast go? How did the ghast do that? Hold on. That was so weird. That was so weird. Alright, we'll try and find another ghast. But we were being attacked by these guys. Okay, yeah, their eyes look a bit more prominent than what we've seen so far. I can see that. Blur starting to creep in, though. Where did that ghast go? That was so weird. If we come over here a bit more, maybe we'll get another ghast to spawn. We're coming out of here into a basalt delta. I heard a ghast. I can't see one. There we go. Here he is. Hello, sir. Can I see how your attack animation looks, please? Okay. Bright orange. Very fiery. Very nice. Okay. Haha, you guys didn't get me. We've got striders down here as well, which we would have seen in the Armoury section. Magma cubes. Now, I like the two-tone nature of the magma cube. It doesn't look like a magma block, but I do like that way that heat is coming through. Okay. All right, that was a little bit of a crazy one. We had a magic ghast. Let's go and find a fortress. And so here's the fortress now. So the fortress looking a lot more purple out here in the actual Nether. We didn't really get that in the Armoury. Maybe I was focusing a bit more on the red Nether bricks. But yeah, definitely got that purple color tone to it. I like it. I think that's cool. And again, I'm still getting that old school art style that I've been talking about. We also got a bastion right near us. Wow, weird generation. Seed will be in description if you want to play this seed, by the way. The Wither skeleton is just a flip of the skeleton. Fair dues. And if we come over here, there'll be a blaze on here as well. Yes, there is. Hi, guys. How you doing? So the facial expression, definitely not really there. Just more fiery. Definitely feels hot, though, so that's cool. I'm very much unprepared today. This is what happens when you make changes last minute to things. Very unprepared. We'll get a Wither skeleton skull, and we'll get ourselves a soul sand, like so. Let's spawn in the Wither now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wither 1, 2, and 3. Here comes the Wither then loading in. I'll never get the lengths of my videos shorter, I'm afraid. This is just me. A very prominent blue on the Wither loading, which then disappears and becomes a black Wither, but I like the blue eyes. That looks cool. That's adding some creative flair to that. I like that. It gives it a bit of coolness. Very nice. Okay. I have to say, it's going to be a limited score, I think, because of how vanilla inspired this pack is for me. But I'm impressed, and I think it's going to be a better score than what it was in my original review. So that's always a plus. Let's head to the end now, and let's see what the Ender Dragon looks like. And into the end we go. Bright purple obsidian, darker yellow end stone, almost feeling like moon rock from like Wallace and Gromit here. Okay. That purple obsidian though, matched in with the purple enderman. Very nice. This is a really good design choice for the end island at least, because the purple feels so strong with that strong jet black background. I like this. Purple overload, and it feels really nice. Let's get over here and see the Ender Dragon. Again, purple overload. Bit of a crazy face with the eyes, but that looks really cool. She looks very mesmerizing. Good old Jean, how you doing? Let's get the Ender Dragon down here again. So that purple outline with the darker purple scaly skin, and then the Enderman here as well. Awesome. I have to say, I like that. Very nice. Let's head to the ancient city. Let's get the Warden, and then let's get my final review. And here we are in the ancient city. Then let's light this up. And so we've got that traditional blue skulk. Again, not really reinventing the wheel here. Not much of a change in terms of feel either. But the color again is very strong. They've made a good point of making sure that the grays are very strong. The blues are very strong. You've even got these kind of pinky yellows in here as well. Looking very, very strong, which is nice. And it's made even more so with the wool. And it's weird because the wool feels less natural with its color. It just kind of feels a lot more smoother. I don't know, it's such a weird pack, man. It's smooth, but not smooth at the same time. I'm going to be really interested to see what you guys think about this. Let's get the Warden out here. And so the Warden should be about to spawn here. Okay. Not much. In fact, I would be very hard-pressed to say that that doesn't really look very changed, for lack of a better term. That feels very vanilla, in fact. Maybe a bit more blur around the face, but that is a little bit disappointing. I have to say, what was this block while we're here? Because I didn't place this. Oh, compressed ice. I didn't know there was compressed ice in the ancient city. Fair dues. But yeah, so that's the Warden then. And what am I going to give this texture pack out of 10? So I think one thing I can say is I was probably a little bit too harsh on this pack in my original review. That can come with not being as expertise in it, I guess, or just not really understanding vanilla packs in general. I have a better understanding of vanilla packs now, and I can kind of appreciate what I'm seeing here a lot more. I can definitely appreciate the changes to the description that were made. So I wasn't expecting a crazy Nether this time. I wasn't expecting a crazy end this time. So coming into this pack, I was expecting it to be vanilla inspired. I get that. I get brighter colors. I think there's some weirdness going on in terms of how smooth yet blurry some blocks still feel, which is weird. It's such a weird art style, and I don't quite get that and how that's even happening or how to even put that into words. But what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. I think 7 out of 10 feels fair. I don't think it's a strong 7. I think on another given day I could have easily given this a 6, but I think I'm going to go for 7s. I like what it does well. I think what it does well I really like. I like that Enderman behind me, and I like the colors. I like how bright it is, and I like how it does feel like a step up for a vanilla pack. With that being said, I don't like vanilla packs. I don't really think they're worth the time. But this is 660 mine tokens. So again, that factors into the price and the review as well. So yeah, I'm going to go for a 7. I feel good with a 7 out of 10. And if we take a look at my texture pack review database over on my website, Dazman Blogs, link down in the description, you'll see that a 7.0 rating puts the Flareful re-review in the same company as packs like Smooth that recently came out by Time Trap Studios, a Skew Audio Overhaul that recently came out by Cyclone Studios. It's also here with Alien Project X by the Craft Stars and Circus Textures by Hero Pixel Games. We also have packs like Jollycraft by Jollycraft and even Dragonborn by Minecraft. And if we take a look at other texture packs created by CubeCraft Games, we can see that this pack comes in just a notch below awesome packs like Faithless and MizunoCraft and even Storytime, but is definitely a lot stronger than packs like Emmerich PvP and Noche Estrellada, or however you say the name of that texture pack. And there we have it. Thank you for checking out today's texture pack review. Please drop a comment with your review of the pack. I love to read what you guys are all thinking, and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed this. If you're new here, please do hit that subscribe button today as well and help the channel grow. I'll see you guys in the next video.